Healers. It sounds like such a big word with big connotations, almost untouchable. Through my journey of becoming a Shiatsu practitioner, the people and teachers who inspired me all had one common thread. They made extraordinary concepts feel ordinary. They are down-to-earth people, and a lot of the time they're grafters and they work hard at their craft. Some I think are born with a gift, but others aren't. But they all work at honing their skills. However they have this power to help people to heal, one thing is for sure, their stories are amazing. Today I'm talking to Helena O Loughlin, who runs the Shiatsu College Dublin. I met her here when I was a student. I personally think Helena is a natural born healer and uses Shiatsu as her tool. Hi Helena.
Hi Lynn, how are you doing?
I'm great, how are you?
I'm good, yeah, back in work, so I'm delighted.
Oh, good. Helena, I just have to start off by saying, so obviously I know you through the Shiatsu College, the Dublin Shiatsu College. And when I went to kind of start my journey in Shiatsu, and I went to the college, and I had been doing massage, and I found Shiatsu, and I wasn't really sure, like, oh, what is this, like, energy and the meridians and everything, and I wasn't sure whether I was going to do it or not. And then when I met you, I said, yeah, this is for me, because you were just so grounded and so sort of relatable, and I thought, yeah, if you can do it, I can do it.
Good woman.
So that's how I know you. So Helena, tell me a bit about your background and how you got into Shiatsu.
I actually got into Shiatsu. I was in a very bad car accident years ago, and I had done a lot of yoga. I was always into yoga, really. And then I went to not a physio, but actual pain machine management. They had where I'd be on a pain machine. And then somebody said to me something about Shiatsu. To this day, I'll never know where I heard it. But I had done bioenergy, and I had found that bioenergy, I loved it, absolutely loved it. But 30 years ago, trying to explain to people about chakras and energy around the body, like they thought I was just, a bit loop-de-loop.
Yeah.
And then I went on this introductory course with Shirley McClure, who I loved. She was a great teacher and sadly passed. But when I had done the introduction course, I just loved it. For me, it brought everything together for me. I could explain to people in very simple terms with the Shiatsu and how, the elements and organs and diagnostic thing. So I could explain all that to people. Yeah. So I felt, and I always felt Shiatsu was very grounded. I met an awful lot of people in the bioenergy world. To me, were, a little bit airy-fairy.
Yeah.
And people just don't want that. They just want you to straight talk, Yeah. They don't understand it. So for me, and because I'm sort of fast anyway, I always found when I gave a treatment of Shiatsu, I felt really calm and really grounded and very actually focused on what was happening.
Okay.
And the one thing I would say where the bioenergy met my needs during Shiatsu was I felt a lot more.
Okay.
I felt an awful lot more. I would have moved away. I would have been very intuitive around diagnosis and things like that. So for me, that really helped. Now, as a child, I'd have been very sort of intuitive anyway. I would have sort of known things that I never knew why I knew them.
Like what? Give us an example.
Well, I would have known when my granny died. I remember being only 7 or 8 when my granny died, and I knew she was going to die.
Okay.
Then when I was about 13, my aunt died, and I knew, like, my mum and dad had gone up to Belfast, and I rang them the next morning because I knew she was dead.
Okay.
So I would have always known these things. Like, I'd have seen train crashes, and then you'd have heard on the news there was a big train crash. Like, why I got this information, I to this day never know. But because to me it's useless information. There's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
Like, I would have seen 9/11 for months and months before 9/11 happened.
No way.
Yeah, I would have went. I remember I was going to a homeopath at the time, and I kept saying, I keep having this dream about planes going into big buildings and people all falling out of windows. And so, like, why? Like,
Yeah,
what could I,
yeah,
so some of the information is sort of useless
yeah.
to me. But so, a lot of people would have wanted me to go on and do psychic work and all of that. But for me, I decided no, I was going to keep it for my work. I didn't want to expand into telling people their fortunes or anything like that, because for me, that's only my interpretation of what I see. So, and I think to tell people that type of information can be quite scary, and they hang on to it, and it may not be true. I may have made a mistake, but I know when I'm working on people, I would have a great sense of what's happening and past, present, to know. So, but I have learned, I suppose, not to say now.
Okay.
Because I think, Lynn, what happened was, I suppose when you're naive and when I started doing Shiatsu and all of that, sure, my mouth used to open and just, all this stuff would come out.
Yeah.
But then you realize, like, you really frighten people. So that was never my intention to do that.
Yeah.
So I learn now, I don't say anything until people ask.
I don't know if you remember, but years ago I went to you for a treatment, and at the time I was working out of a hotel in town. I was doing massage and shiatsu, and I had bought a box of sweets and they were for the clients, and it was to give the clients after their treatment. And one day I was in there and it was dead, and I started eating the sweets, and I fecking ate loads of sweets. And then I went to you for a treatment, and you're kind of working on me there, and you were like, yeah, you like sugary stuff, don't you? And I was like, yeah. And he said, you're a bitch for the sweets, aren't you?
I have no memory.
Yeah.
We have what, when I would be treating people, I'd have absolutely no memory of what I'd say.
Yeah.
People come back to me and hear my, oh, did I say that?
Yeah.
So now I've really learned. I suppose I was much younger then, and you grow older and you get a little bit more sense and all of that. No, I wouldn't say anything. And now if I feel anything a bit sinister, I just say maybe we could go to the doctor and get that checked.
Oh, okay.
Because again, I'm not 100% right all the time. So I really, and when I see students coming into the college who have that gift, it's so important not to say that to the clients.
Oh, okay, yeah. And would you tell the students that?
Yeah, there's been one or two over the years that we've really had to pull back. And there was one girl I was actually going to ask to leave, because that's not helpful. You're not helping anybody saying those things to people, know. So I think, and who's to say we're right, So just give the treatment and send them to the professionals.
So do you remember then how you got into bioenergy then?
Actually, I went to, there was this girl who worked on Kevin, my husband, and she worked in Aircom, and they were doing a day, some charity day for something, raising money for something, and her name was Noreen. And Kevin went and got a bioenergy, and the money was being donated to some charity. And she turned around and she said, your wife needs to go to this guy, Michael Dalton. I had no idea what bioenergy was. Mm-hmm. And when I went to the bioenergy class, Michael Dalton said, are you here for the psychic course? I said, no. So he said, you should do that. But no, I wasn't. I tried it for a couple of weeks, and no, it wasn't for me. I just didn't like the people he had brought in to work with us. No.
Okay.
No, okay. It wasn't for me at all. So, but I did love the bioenergy, and I still love the bioenergy.
Yeah. So then just jump forward then for me to when you went to the Shiatsu college. It was in Kerry, was it?
No, it was actually out in Monkstown.
Oh.
We had our in-house training, our residentials in Kerry.
Oh, okay.
In a place called Lishtana, most beautiful place, like a magnificent place. And I would have joined, I missed the first week of it. So I actually landed in a 5-day residential. No, nobody.
Oh, God.
and had just given up smoking at the time.
Oh, geez. Did you start again?
What?
Did you start smoking again? No.
So we went down there, and yeah, it was tough. Like, you get away, like.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about, because just talk about that college a little bit, because it does seem quite different to your college. It was a lot sterner.
Anne Highland, who I absolutely love. All the teachers I really, there was Anne and Shirley and Josephine Lynch, and another lovely lady called Carmen. I can't remember her second name. And they were just exceptional teachers. Like, they were just amazing.
Yeah.
And like, Josephine would have taught TCM at the time. So TCM was taught when I was in college, but it's such a big subject. That's why we leave a lot of it out now, because it's a whole course on its own. And I love Josephine, because Josephine used to go off and tell stories. So I'm dyslexic, so that's how I'd learn more than the facts. And just to do a keto, and she was great. And Shirley would have done the Masanaga, and like, when you're on page 1, you were on page 1. You didn't skip to page 2. You were on page 1, and you stayed on page 1. But meticulous teacher, like Shirley was a meticulous teacher. And then Carmel would have done all the elements, so we really went into the elements as well. And a wonderful lady. And because I'm dyslexic, I remember one day it was all getting too much for me, and I ran in. I said, "That's it, I'm leaving." And she said, "You'll not go back into class." But it was very sort of strict school. Like, it was very strict. You really only spoke when you were spoken to. And when you went on the residential, like, you were up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning doing walk and meditation, and it was all microbiotic food. Like, there was no other food, only microbiotic food.
Yeah.
And it was strict. It was strict. And then the class, like, I was in, there was 26 or 27 of us.
Was there?
Yeah. So you could imagine all those different personalities in a class.
Yeah. And was it over 3 years, or?
Yeah, it was 3 years. It was Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So we used to go in on a Friday, and we'd be there for 6 o'clock. Friday was from 6 to 10. And then Saturday and Sunday, I think, was from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6.
Yeah.
Because we covered much more. Like, we'd done the AMP, we'd done TCM.
Yeah.
You'd have done much more of the elements. So for me, it was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But I was always I was never very good at the theory.
Yeah.
Like, I passed my exams, but I just knew where points were.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I just knew where they were. Don't ask me how. I just knew where they were, And we had a big written exam of AMP. We had a written exam of all the theory, and then we had a practical in front of 3 or 4 teachers.
Oh God, it's hard, isn't it?
Yes, you've got away scot-free
with murder. And was that a choice? Was that a conscious decision to make it very different from your college? Because it was a lovely weekend, like when we were doing Shiatsu. You kind of went in, and you obviously we learned a lot, but it was a nice, friendly little atmosphere.
Yeah, because I think, Lynn, I'm dyslexic. I know how hard it is when you get all that theory banged in your face. And I realised, because the college that I went to, the school that I went to, had 3 or 4 different teachers. I really loved that, because there was 1 or 2 that you really connected with, and you really learned from them. Not saying that the other teachers weren't, but just different personalities, learn different things. So I always knew I always wanted 3 or 4 teachers in the school, always.
Yeah.
And but it was a great experience. Like, I just, when you were dying to finish and all the rest, and then when you finished, it was like, where am I going to go this weekend?
Yeah.
We all used, because I'm a time freak. So, like, I used to drive out to Monkstown, but the traffic used to be really bad. So I'd leave our house. The kids used to slag me and say, "Quick, Ma, you better go." I'd leave at 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'd sit in a coffee shop because I get there like 3:30, 4:00. And then some of the other girls would come in and we'd have a cup of coffee and a chat. So it's such learning, and then such friendships you made. No, it was lovely, tough, but it was lovely. And we'd have to clean up after us and hoover and put all the mats away. And yeah.
Oh, we didn't do that in your college.
No, yes, was spoiled.
So you qualified as a Shiatsu practitioner, and at what point did that college close and you decided that to set up your college?
Well, I was I suppose I just qualified, and then my brother had died, so I really took about a year out because I didn't feel, that was appropriate for me to treat people. And I would have always stayed in touch with Shirley and Josephine all the time. And so then I think they had said that they were full and they wanted to retire. They had been teaching for years and all of that. And I just thought, oh no, there's no other school in Ireland. I didn't even know about the CoOp schooling. Did I? I'm not sure. But I'd have been on the committee and I'd have been chairperson of the Shiatsu Society. And I just felt that, no, Shiatsu can't die in Ireland. Like Anne had brought it over and had worked really hard at getting Shiatsu out there. And I just felt, my God, after all that work, it just can't go. So I had asked them, would we set up another college school?
Yeah.
And so Josephine, I'd asked Shirley and I'd asked John at the time, John from Belfast. And because the other, Josephine wanted to retire and Anne wanted to retire and Carmel wanted to retire. So Shirley and John said yes. And then I had done a workshop with Helena O and I loved her. I just loved her. And she was like to me, like Carla in England.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I adored. I seen Carla when I was only a student. I just loved her. I loved the way she worked. And Fionnuala would have reminded me of the same ease and everything, So we sat down and we just said, right, we'll do this college. And I had said to them, well, like when we set up a co-op, will we all own it? And they just said, no, you do all the admin, we'll teach.
You do all the hard work and we teach.
But that was what they were good at. So I didn't mind.
Yeah.
I'd never taught or anything like that before. So for me, well, you had the experts. So why not use them? Yeah. So we opened, Fionnuala had, I think, sort of started a small school down in Sligo. So we used all her curriculum.
Oh, okay.
She had all the curriculum there. So we used all her curriculum. And then I suppose over the years we discovered, this is a bit old, this isn't working for us, and this isn't working for us. And then, as you know, we sent out feedback forms. So at the end of each year, we'd sit and look at those forms, and particularly the third years, as to how to move forward, what they thought over the 3 years. So I think it's really important that the college changes. You keep the core principle of the school there and the teachings, but you really do have to move. You really do. And I found the biggest thing that we did was, now we asked the students to do the A&P outside. Number one, you have to have a certificate in it. When I was doing it, you didn't have to have the highest qualifications in A&P. So we hadn't got time to teach that properly.
Yeah.
So for me, then go and do your A&P and then come in and learn Shiatsu, because we found so much time was being taken up with A&P and the actual Shiatsu was suffering.
Okay.
So that's why we changed things. And I suppose we'll constantly change things, as we see the students' reports, on how it's working. Yeah. Like now we'll do Zoom calls.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Now, because of lockdown, like the way each tutor is assigned 3 or 4 students, So they're all doing Zoom calls now because they're coming up to the third year and they have their project to do and they have their assignments to do and case studies and all of that to do.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So it helps.
Yeah. So in all your years of teaching and treating as well, has there ever been either a student or a client that kind of influenced you or changed your way of teaching or treating?
I know when I seen Carla as a student, I wanted to work like her.
Mm-hmm.
There was just such an ease, and she made everything look simple.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes worry when people or teachers complicate things because there's no need to complicate them.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, the most profound teacher is able to teach very simply.
Mm-hmm. Make it seem easy.
I think sometimes a lot of egos get in the way then, and that's not helping anyone,
Mm-hmm.
So, I maybe because I'm dyslexic, but I'm a very straight talker. It's like this. I can make this as complicated as you want it, but why?
Yeah.
So for me, I wanted, simple. And Carla, for me, always did that.
Yeah.
She always, I done loads of courses for Carla, and I was away with her for 5 days every couple of years, and always she came away and you just knew things, and it was taught really simply. It wasn't complicated at all. So for me, Carla would have been a huge influencer on me in Shiatsu, and also a guy called Rex LaSalle.
I don't know him.
Oh, he was an amazing man, and he was he's called a grasshopper. He would have been like the seventh son of a seventh son.
Okay.
So his parents, he was from the Dominican Republic, and his parents would have known what was happening by the sound of the grasshoppers. So there's a whole astrology. He wrote a whole book on astrology and all of that. And I remember him being in the dance studio out in Dunleary. And again, simple, possibly at the time, too straight for the Irish.
Yeah.
But very straight. Like I remember him asking this teacher, he was going around the room, very intuitive man. And he just said, you've had a lot of trauma for the past couple of months and all of that, which she had. And she was saying, and he said, I just want a simple yes or no. Very straight.
And what was the course that you did with him? Or did you do a few?
Shiatsu. It was just Shiatsu. It was different aspect of Shiatsu. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like I've gone to loads of courses in England and all the rest. And did I like them? I did. And I suppose sometimes, because again I'm dyslexic, they gave me a vocabulary that I could use, which I didn't know. But I found, 2 or 3 things I found. I found the work, when they were working with people, I couldn't see the work. I couldn't see it.
Okay.
So when I'm in a classroom, I can see whether you're connected to the person or not, or whether the work is happening. You know? And with like the likes of Carla and Rex and my own teachers, you could actually physically see the body changing or things moving. But I didn't see that. I was actually quite astonished, because I remember doing the teacher training course over there, and like we would have known this, at the back of the head, like the dance. And I was doing this teaching like I was a nervous wreck. And one of the really highest teachers said, what's he doing? What's he doing? And I'm thinking, the old Irish thinking, oh, I'm doing something wrong. And they said, but you're contacting the Dantian. And he went, but we would have been taught that.
Okay.
So I couldn't understand how this sort of high teacher didn't know that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get upset that the Shiatsu community don't use the people we have in Ireland.
Okay.
Because we have some fantastic teachers here in Ireland. Really, really good teachers. And I keep saying, over. But like even when I was the chairperson of the society, we were always bringing over people, and I'm sort of saying, well, we're not choosing our own.
Like who, Helena? Like
Well, I
Fanula?
think Fanula's a fantastic teacher.
Yeah.
You have Julian. I have my own expertise in it. Mika is coming up now. She has her own expertise. Sheila Woods is a wonderful teacher and has fantastic knowledge. So I'm sort of saying, why not group those people together and do? Because we all bring, like I'm 30 years now doing Shiatsu, and Julian is the same. So why not bring that knowledge to the fore instead of,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I've done your course, the intuition course that you do, yeah. And just when you were saying there about that, you can see the body change. And I remember working on people, and I just remember you saying, yeah, it's there, you could see it, yeah.
Yeah. But sure, I done courses, like I done Barbara Brennan's The Hand of Light, which is, I've always wanted to do that. I read that book when I was 20, I just thought it was amazing. And I done that with a guy in Scotland, cost me an absolute arm and a leg and pain and suffering through it.
Yeah.
And one day I was working on this girl, and I had a bit of a thing with him. And he said, oh, don't be worried. I was asking him something. Oh, don't be worrying. He said, you're very well connected. And I'm looking at him and I said, I'm more connected to this person now than I am to the cows in the field. So do you know what it is? To me, Lynn, it sort of upset me.
Right, yeah.
Because, and then I just said, is it me? But some of the videos that I have done courses online, and I have showed people who I know can see, and here they are, there's no connection there, there's nothing moving there. So I'm, where I see our teachers and the people that I have seen in Shiatsu in Ireland, and they would buy and sell them.
Yeah.
So that sometimes makes me upset, and at the time when we were bringing over people from all over, like there were £1,000 a day, plus expensive.
Yeah.
Expenses. And I'm like, why aren't we giving that to our own?
Yeah, yeah.
So that upsets me sometimes,
Yeah. So tell me, I know you've done a lot of things. So you run the college, and you were sort of doing a lot of things, like you were the head of the society for a while. And have you found that now that you're just sort of sticking to the college and doing your treatments, have you slowed down a little bit? No.
I suppose the college now, I suppose, virtually runs itself now.
Okay.
A lot of the work is done. Okay, you have to keep up the profile and you have to do all that. And I suppose things are always changing, but it's nothing like what it used to be.
Okay.
Like it used to be really hard work. And I suppose when you do things repetitive, it's repetitiveness,
Yeah.
But I found when I could put all my energy into the college then, instead of diverting myself away from, for the society and all the rest. So now I just focus on the college, and then I can do what I want.
Okay.
I can do the promotion I want. I can do the marketing I want. I can do whatever I want without waiting a year to get an answer or something. So for me, as you know, well, I don't know, but we the tutors would meet every month and have Zoom. Now we have Zoom meetings, and we discuss all what's going on in the college, and then we decide what way we have to go, or what we have to do. So for me, that's far more beneficial than,
Mm-hmm. And what about new courses? Have any more courses coming up, or anything to look forward to?
What is it? I've written, as Kevin would tell you, I've books written. Like I've these pads, and I've written them all, they're all on my iPad. I would love to do the bioenergy and Shiatsu, because I just feel I just see huge benefits in that now, and I'm using it more and more in my work now. Okay. Because of COVID and different things. But I find, how does it work? Well, I think when you do Shiatsu first of all, you can sort of scan the body with bioenergy, and you'll feel things, and you can really feel the excess energy where it is. So sometimes if, say, for instance, it's in the head, you know, people thinking a lot. So I clear that with bioenergy. And then I really, really love the Shiatsu because it just really grounds people, settles them down. Where I think sometimes with the bioenergy, if you're waving your hands around, particularly if somebody comes for the first time, it's like, what the hell are they doing, you know? So I really find that working the palm and the body and settling it down, it just, you know, it just expands, it just gives in. And then I feel when you do go into the points or the points you're using, it sort of releases things, and then you can clear it with the bioenergy.
That sounds great, Helena. I'll do that course. Sign me up.
No, I'm hoping to do. No, I really am hoping, because, you know, I suppose some of the teachers and the students, you know, past students know I do all this work for a long time. They can say, why do you do it? And I suppose sometimes I teach it too simply and it could be taught in about 2 days. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel, yeah, I feel that's the next step, because I have like books written on it.
Just have to get them out there.
Just have to get them out there.
Helena, I just asked on social media that I was telling people that I was going to be talking to you, and I asked people, did they have any questions? So Mairead McHugh, remember Mairead? She was in my class.
I do, yes.
Well, she's Mairead Wills now, sorry Mairead. So she asked, what are your daily practices to help keep you grounded, and how important do you find these?
Oh, you know what I was like? I mean, I just feel if you don't do, well, I do yoga every morning. And I just feel, even, you know, some mornings you don't want to get on the mat. You really don't want to get on the mat. You ate the mat before you get on. But definitely, it gives you a sense of what's happening. Because no matter what, every morning you wake up, you're a different you. You've left that day behind, it's a new day. And I definitely couldn't work without it. I couldn't work out without, before clients come, settling myself down, doing a little bit of meditation, asking for whoever I work with. I would, you know, asking there for their guidance, because I think if you just come in and rush in the door and put your hands on somebody, I don't think you're doing yourself or them a justice. Because those, for me, those clients are sort of, you know, we're very privileged that they actually trust us to put their hands on us. Yeah. And I've worked with a lot of abused people, because I'm working with one psychotherapist, and it's such a privilege. And those people are so scared of hands.
Right, yeah.
So I think you have to be the very best of who you can be when you walk into that room.
Okay, makes sense.
You know, if you're all over the place and somebody is very nervous, it's no.
Yeah.
And you know, what people I find forget is, and I hear this all the time in the class, oh, how do I protect my energy? How do I protect my energy? But energy is an exchange. So we have to protect the client. Do you know what I mean? Not only does the client has to protect themselves as much as we have to protect themselves. Because if we're all over the place, that's being transmitted to the client.
Yeah, it's a good way to think of it, really.
You know, and don't think for 1 minute they don't know, because they do know. You know, it's an exchange. Yeah. So that's what I do.
Very good.
And I go for an awful lot of walks.
Yeah.
In the forest.
Okay. And then Amy McDonald on Facebook asked, have you seen a lot more interest over the years in Shiatsu and holistic therapies?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we have a lot more men.
Okay.
We have we would have nearly half and half now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There would at least be 4-5 men in a class of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think because it's a physical thing, I think men relate to it more. It's a physical thing. And I think too, because it's done with the clothes on, a lot of people feel more comfortable even in themselves, you know, coming to class. Yeah. To do it, yeah. Yeah, okay. And not much more interest, a lot more. Like we have, I'd say, about 15 people waiting to do the introductory course.
Ah, brilliant.
Yeah, so but you have to put in the work to get the results.
I know. Yeah. It doesn't come easy.
Yeah,
So
and then I suppose it's like people like you, Lynn, have done the course and tell other people, because we would have a lot of that as well. Therapists, and somebody goes into Shiatsu, oh, I've always wanted to do that. Oh, you go and do Shiatsu,
I do think it's growing now. I do think it's more and more people know about it. And there's so many people on Facebook and social media talking about Shiatsu at the moment. I do think it's getting there.
I think it's our time. We've been here a long time, and I think it's our time. And I think, that, and I'm not, but I think the students have worked for 3 years and they work very hard to get their diploma. So I remember showing this to a girl who teaches massage and A&P and all up in the college, and she actually said to me, that's a degree course, Helena. And I said, I know, but we can't get the recognition for it. I'd love somebody, I'd jump through hoops to try and get it certified, but nobody will do it for us,
Yeah. Well, listen, you've books of courses that you're going to do, and you're not slowing down anyway, and the college is going brilliantly, so that's great.
Yeah, but honestly, Lynn, I have a great team behind me. I have always had like the tutors and myself. We just get on great, and I think that also blends in. We've lost teachers through the way because of different things. They got fed up teaching, I suppose, and new teachers come in, which I think is right as well, to shake us all up and make us stand up again. So no, I think it's like the other business I have, the shop. I think if you get on with all your staff, that reflects out to the students and the public. And we were really sorry this year, our third years that left, we couldn't have a residential. So the residential is the best part.
It is. It really is.
It is tough. I know it's tough, but it's still, you have great crack at it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, definitely. You do. I can definitely vouch for that.
Yes.
Helena, it's been lovely talking to you. Thanks so much for your time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Helena. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye, love. Bye-bye.